Okay, so Gukesh is black against Maghsoodloo. This is board 1, India, Iran. And he played a Tarash, which is not very popular for black. This is the main line. Black can also play bishop e7 here, also a common move. Usually I don't have the evaluation bar up, and then everybody yells at me to put it up. So I won't even ask this time. I'll just put it up.
Yeah.
Because they get mad.
Oh, if you put it up? Or
No, they get mad if I don't have it up.
I think it's good to have it up.
Okay. It still seems like it's not there.
Well, you've got that window's not live. You don't have OBS up. So you're looking at an old window. Click live in that YouTube.
Here?
Mm-hmm.
Where?
I would just refresh it. I don't
Yeah, it's live.
Oh, there it is. Oh, okay.
It's definitely live. I have the window up, so it's live. Probably have to fix the chessboard.
Oh, yeah, because it's all the way in. It's not wide enough. Use the Alt key.
I know, but I'm looking for it. I can't see so far.
There you go.
Yeah, I always have it sitting here on this, so it's live.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good.
That otherwise, and then I have that one on there, so I can see both chats. Also, I can see both chats anyway. It's Pat. Have you ever played Gukesh or Arjun? Sort of. I've never played Gukesh. However, about 3 weeks ago in Title Tuesday, I played Arjun, and I was crushing him the whole game, +3, +4, just outplaying him and winning. Then I made several mistakes, and we got into a drawn ending. And then we both had less than 10 seconds, and I made a one-move blunder that lost. And after that game, he won all of his games forever against everybody. So there you go. Yeah, he has like 6.5 out of 7 at the Olympiad, Arjun.
Good. Hey, Pat.
Arjun's 2784 now.
Great. That's exciting. Up-and-coming talent.
Okay. Okay, so this is all theory. The first position of the game I saw when I was watching the event was this one, and I was perplexed at rook e1. Like if a student of mine played rook e1, I would yell at them. But Parham is better than me, so I don't know. But typically in this variation, you don't want to weaken your f2 pawn because there's a bishop here. The engine doesn't play rook e1, so I'm tending to think that maybe I was right. Okay, so he played h6, stopping bishop g5.
And so why wouldn't they take your bishop?
You can take the bishop basically whenever you want, but it's also important that you have knight going to c5 and the d pawn is weak. So moving the bishop could end up losing your d pawn. So basically there's no hurry. Take the bishop whenever you want. And they ended up playing this move instead because that's a good square. And then they took the bishop. And the engine says white is a tiny little better if they take this instead. But he took the other way and then took. Now it says black is a little better. So black's down a pawn, but the knight is in trouble of getting trapped. Okay. E4 is the correct move. That's correct. And it doesn't like rook takes. It says white should play pawn takes. But I think if you play pawn takes, you're sort of agreeing that your position's not very good. But that's the best move. After rook takes, now black's better. Black played very incisively. Knight b4, attacking the knight by discovery. So knight d6 is forced. Bishop takes bishop, king takes. And then rook d8. and it's sort of a permanent pin. You can't move your knight because it's pinned to the queen on d1, and you can't play rook d3 because the knight defends d3. And whether you like it or not, I'm going to play knight d5, threatening everything: your rook, your bishop, and your knights. God damn. Okay, so basically, the only way to draw this position is if you're an engine, and you just play perfect move every move for black, for white. And if you do, it says black is +1. So 2 engines playing, black might win. But if 2 humans are playing, black will win, because there's no way to defend this perfectly. For example, the engine says rook f3 and rook b3 are the best moves. Rook b3 makes sense. Rook f3, what the hell is that? Okay, so he played rook b3, knight d5, and white played the best move, bishop e5, the only move, queen e6. Then he played the best move again. So white's played the best move every move since he's had a crappy position. Okay, now in this position, black has to make a difficult choice. Black can keep attacking white's pieces and try to win a piece, or black can just take the knight and get 2 pieces for a rook. But black doesn't have a lot of pawns. White has an extra pawn. So now the engine does take the knight and says black is +1. And Gukesh decided not to do that. He played the much trickier knight g4. Okay, and this is insanely tricky. And the main line, which is what white should play, but white didn't play it, is bishop take g7, knight e3 check, rook takes e3, the only move, knight takes e3, queen takes e3, queen d5 check, king g1, king takes g7. And black is up in exchange for 2 pawns, and the knight looks like it's trapped. But the engine says it's equal if white plays check and then puts the knight on c4. And even here, if I could calculate this far, I wouldn't know that this is equal because this looks really strong.
Yeah.
But we have knight e3. Or knight takes b6. So then the game went in a draw. Okay, so knight g4 was inaccurate, and Maghsoodloo could have taken on g7 and probably drawn the game if they see through the complications. And instead, Maghsoodloo played rook d1, which is also playable. Knight e7 is the best move. Once again, bishop takes g7 is okay. And he played it. And then knight f5. And the knight can't take because the queen's hanging. Although actually the engine says the knight can take. And then it says black shouldn't take the queen. Black should take the knight. And then queen f4 is the engine move. And that's what he played. Queen f4. If you play queen takes knight, then you run into knight e3 check, winning your queen. Okay, so he played queen f4. Knight takes. And then rook takes b6. So white's down a piece, but black doesn't have a lot of pawns left, and white has 3 pawns for the piece. Okay, now the engine plays knight h5. Gukesh played f5. The engine says that white's not worse anymore, and white can just play a4, saving the pawn, and a5, a6. It says it's equal, actually. He played h3, which it doesn't like. Knight e5, it doesn't like that move. It says knight f6 is better. And in this position, Parham lost the game in 1 move. He made double question mark move, losing the game immediately. And at this point in time, Parham had 8 minutes left, and Gukesh had 5. The engine says white can do nothing and be equal. b3, a4, random legal moves are equal. But he made a tactical blunder. Not sure what he missed. He played knight c4. losing the game immediately. And I think he missed rook d1. That's what I think. So the queen's hanging, and the knight's hanging, and the rooks are hanging. So knight c4 must be calculated accurately. Black played the obvious move. Since black's queen is hanging, he took the knight. And now the rook is hanging on d1. So white traded rooks and played queen takes knight. So when white played knight c4, I think he saw this position and thought it was fine. And I think he missed rook d1. That's what I think. And after rook d1, he can resign. I mean, here comes queen f1, and that's the end of your king. Gukesh seemed perplexed by knight c4. He played rook d1 and got up and walked away what is this? What kind of player are you? So that's a really bad blunder for 2700, especially after such a tough, complicated game, and the game's over now. So instead of resigning, we saw a nice finish. Rook b3. The point of rook b3 is if it's black's move, black plays queen f1, king f3, rook d3, king f4, queen f2 mate. And so after queen f1, king f3, Parham stops rook d3 check by playing rook b3. Okay, now there's a very cute variation here, which did not happen. And you're going to tell me why.
Okay.
So knight h5, white has one legal move. Actually, I didn't see king e3. King e3 is so bad I didn't see it was legal, because checkmate. That's not checkmate. That just wins the queen. Damn. Okay, so after knight h5, king takes f5, rook d5. That looks good for black, but it's not. Confusing the audience.
Let's see. We can check with the rook, and then what happens? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you check with the rook forever.
Right.
That's a draw because the king can't escape.
Oh, what?
And
I saw
and
that.
if black plays king h7, white plays rook h8 mate, which would be funny. Mm-hmm. Okay, now I have a question. So rook here draws. Rook check, rook check, rook check, draw. I have a question. If white plays king g6, now in my head, I'm not using the engine yet, so I could be wrong. Which I usually am wrong when I don't use the engine. In my head, black has one winning move here. Let's see if I'm right. Don't you look at the engine? You never look at it anyway.
I can't see it.
Yeah, so white's winning here, except black has one move that wins. So either white wins or black wins. So you got the pressure's on.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, I've got that chat. I can't go there. Is queen b1?
Queen b1 wins because now there's no mate on the back rank, so we could take the queen next move.
Right.
If you don't play queen b1, white actually wins. So if white had a pawn here, white would be winning with king g6. Anyway, since rook here is a draw, Gukesh didn't do that. But you could see, in a blitz game, knight check, king takes rook d5 looks like you win the queen. So, But it doesn't work. Gukesh played the best move, rook d5. now he's threatening the queen, and if the queen moves to a random square, then knight h5, king e3, queen e1 mate. And if your queen moves away from e4, then queen e4 is mate. So the queen has to stay on e4, and then I go knight check and queen here mate. So the engine says white has to give the queen away here. That's the best move. So instead, Parham resigned.
I assume they're both board ones.
Uh-huh. Gukesh is only the second highest rated player on the team, but he's board 1.
Yeah.
Who's the highest rated?
Let me think. Would Pragnananta be high enough?
No, he's board 2, but he's lower rated than board 3.
Um,
Highest rated player is on board 3.
Let me think.
We talked about him earlier.
I know.
I played him in Title Tuesday. I was crushing him the whole game.
Irigasi?
Yeah.
Yeah, Irigasi. I forgot.
And then their board 4 is Vidit.
Okay.
And then their alternate is Hari Krishna. Mm-hmm. Hari Krishna at his peak was 2770 FIDE. God damn. Now he's no good.
How old is he now?
He's in his late 30s, I guess.
Yeah.
Instead of Hari Krishna, they should have had Nihal Sarin on the team. I don't know who made that decision. It could be there's some formula for rating, so it was Hari Krishna.
Yeah.
But if it was a group of old people meeting with cigars discussing who plays on the team, they should have picked Nihal Sarin. Mm-hmm. Hari Krishna's old. I picked him instead of Nihal Sarin. So that was a strange, I don't know.